All right, so today I'm joined by Jacobe Smith after a very successful UFC debut with a first round knockout. Welcome to the program, man. How are you?
Good. Finding you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, of course. So congrats on the win. But it's your first time here. So my first question for you is like tell us a little bit about yourself. Like where are you from originally?
I'm from Oklahoma. I don't know if you've heard of Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's about 25 minutes or so from Tulsa, the Tulsa
Okay.
area. So yeah, I was born there, raised all over. I mean, I lived in Louisiana, California, Oklahoma as well. Now Texas. So I mean, I've been all over, but
Okay.
originally Oklahoma, born and raised.
And I live in California. That's where I'm from. So
All right.
why did you move around a lot?
Uh, it just my daddy was a professional football player, and he switched teams a lot, and outside of that, like I don't know what kind of work he did and stuff growing up, but we was all over the country doing crazy stuff with him, always on the highways and stuff like that. So settling, we didn't really settle too much in certain places, so
Okay.
over pretty much.
He was in the NFL or like some other pro league?
No, he was in the semi-pro leagues. He played for this team called the Land Sharks out of Lake Charles. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're a semi-pro football team. And then he was drafted by the Oakland Raiders and the Packers, I believe. And he ended up turning it down because I had an asthma attack and ended up, getting close to near death as a kid. Rearranging his life to be with me. So
Okay, so he had to readjust a little bit.
absolutely.
So do you still struggle with asthma today and stuff like that?
No, once I got into middle school and they released me to do sports, I outgrew it and never had a problem with it again.
Oh, okay. What
So
happened? Were you just playing around as a kid, like just doing your thing and just lost your breath?
no, I was born when I was born, I came home. We didn't know I had it, but then a few months went by and I started having breathing problems at home with my parents, which I couldn't imagine now that I got two kids, which is kind of crazy. But started having to go to the doctor when I was about 1 years old, 1.5, and then from then on out, all the way up until middle school. And then once I got into middle school, I was pushing so hard to get into sports, and in middle school they finally released me, and then started doing my thing. Never had a
Okay.
problem.
So were you like, come on, let me try this shit. Like, give me a chance at this. And your parents, like, for the longest time were like, nah, like you can't, like you got asthma.
Yeah, like my that's what my mom would tell me. My dad just uh told me I couldn't play due to medical issues and stuff, but my mom was like, you can't do this. Let me know the whole situation in the scoop. But once I was released, growing up, all my friends, family, cousins and stuff, they were all in sports and they come home and we'd all play and do the sports and stuff. And, I was better than everybody, but I just was the one that couldn't, get into sports until I was a freshman in high school due
I
to
see.
issues.
What was the
But
first sport you played?
uh, I believe football.
Okay.
I took off with football. I ended up being too small, and where I'm from, we were pretty terrible. So wrestling kind of took over the spotlight pretty quick.
Okay. And I guess how did you get into wrestling like after football? Is it big in your area that you grew up in and stuff?
Yes, it was when I was coming up. It's kind of dying down now, but they were my high school team was champs the year before I got there. They won the national, not national, but state title for Oklahoma. So they were pretty good. And once I got up there, I fell into place. I loved it. Everything was good. And funny story, my daddy ended up telling me he was a wrestler as well, and I
Okay.
didn't know it. I got into wrestling thinking I was going to be John Cena,
Mm,
that
yeah, yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And once I figured out what it was, I literally got my butt spanked by some skinny white boy that like he had no wittiness to him, no craziness, and he just was so respectful. And I just couldn't figure out how he beat me. I was ripped, and it just it bothered me. So I fell in love with the science of figuring out how to beat people, no matter how much bigger they were, you know.
Yeah.
It just ran from there.
I feel like that's everybody's first experience. That was kind of my first experience too. Like I was like rushing in on takedowns and shit, and the
Uh-huh.
guy just kept like flipping me to my back like at least 5 times
Yeah.
before I like learned my lesson. You know?
Yeah. See, my lesson was learned in the streets with with people that were doing sports. The only difference was I didn't get to do the sports. The little back through the neighborhood. And then after sports, we still run around the neighborhood and stuff, and you fighting the kids around the neighborhood. Everybody like, I'm the best. You ain't, nobody knows you. You don't do sports type stuff, and then I got to beat up everybody in the neighborhood and let them know, even though I can't play on the team,
Okay.
I'm the
Yeah.
best player. That
So
kind of
you're
stuff.
on the sidelines watching and stuff, and then they're like
Yeah,
talking shit to you, so you have to like fight them to get
yeah,
their respect.
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay. What age were you when you started wrestling though? Just for everyone to know. Like middle school, you said, right? So around like
13 years,
11. Okay, 13.
12, I believe.
Okay, like eighth grade or what?
Yeah, eighth grade. I I ended up being pretty good right off the bat, so I stuck with it. And then my brother was a Golden Gloves champ boxing, so I fought around and stuff a lot. And then the wrestling, just the intensity that I brought with it, that kind of helped me cement my legacy into the way that it happened.